welcome back to another movie review, and today we are reviewing A Quiet Place Day 1. Yes, over the last couple of days, actually, or days, I have been reviewing and watching A Quiet Place 1 as well as Part 2. If you did miss those videos on the channel, they are there, of course. Go back and watch those. A Quiet Place Day 1, though, is a prequel, and it is the first movie in the franchise not directed by John Krasinski. It is Michael Sonoski, director of Pigs, Rings, and now A Quiet Place Day 1. Yeah, very unknown director, but obviously John Krasinski is back as a producer. We've got, I think also Michael Bay as a producer on this movie as well. Yeah, we've got some, he is overseeing it. Of course, John Krasinski was the co-writer as well. So it is very true to what it is meant to be. Now, this is one that actually takes place in New York City, and the actual casting of this movie is very interesting nonetheless. So we get Lupita Nyong'o, who's playing Samira. She is the main person in the movie, and her and Eric, basically. Eric is this like a British law student, which I did think had something going for him in terms of there was something fishy about him. However, turns out he was legitimate. So yeah, but he's played by Joseph Quinn, and then we get Alex Wolff in the movie who's Ruben. Now Ruben is basically Samira's carer. So Samira, Lupita Nyong'o's character, she has cancer, and you know her main goal is really like she kind of knows she's gonna die, and her goal is like I just want pizza. Like I just want pizza. Like everyone's going south. Like she's heard that everyone's got to go south to get the boats to get off the island and all that. But she's like, no, I want to go to Harlem. I want pizza. She's almost like she's at the end of her life. She knows she's going to die, so she wants to just enjoy the last day of her life. You know, she doesn't want to take a place on the boat. It's a very wholesome story in a way, because like, as I say, she's got a terminal illness. She doesn't want to take somebody else's place potentially that could be on there that is healthy or whatever. She is probably terminal, we don't actually know. And yeah, one nice surprise in this film though is we do get Djimon Hounsou, who is actually in the second A Quiet Place movie. He is like man on the island. We don't actually know his name, but in this movie he's Henry, and yeah, his son is in the movie as well, and yeah, it's a nice, you know, call back to the original series, but without being too fancy, I guess, about it, you know. However, though, that is the premise of the film. It's basically in New York City. Obviously, it starts with like New York City is like one of the loudest cities in the world, and it can output like a massive scream, 90 decibels, I think it said, of scream and all that stuff. So it had some moments there that were to be thinked upon, and it goes from really loud New York City to obviously everyone has to be really quiet. This one, you know, in the other two films there was monsters and stuff like that, but the monsters were only like one, maybe two at a push at times. There wasn't really a squad of them. In this one, they landed and there was, I'd say, dozens of those monster creatures just running around after one person. So there was like monster stampedes many times. So this was definitely a lot more terrifying. I will say that it was definitely up there in terms of, I'd say, more scary. And of course, watching 1 and 2, I watched them at home. This is in the cinema. So yeah, but I think enjoyment level of this, I think it was a bit not as good as the other two. I think I cared more about the family than I did in terms of Samira. It was nice to see a different aspect in the same world and the same storyline, because we know certain things that were happening, especially from Part 2. And it was interesting in that sense. But I liked the story. I liked the concept. I liked where it was going with it. I think enjoyment levels, it was up there. It was really busy in the cinema as well, so it's a very popular movie this is going to be, I believe. But yeah, I think both people's performances, Joseph Quinn as well as Lupita Nyong'o's characters and performances, I thought were exceptional. I thought they were brilliant, and it just, you know, nice to get the same writer in there. It's a prequel stroke sequel. Yeah, it was nice. It was a decent sequel. So that being said, it was decent. What would I score it for being decent? 3.5 star I actually gave it, and it is up there. I really enjoyed it. It's a high end of the 3.5 star for me. The Quiet Place franchise for me is a very interesting one. Really enjoyed this one. It's a really good twist. They can definitely do loads of different sequels to this. I personally would call this A Quiet Place New York, because you could then do A Quiet Place London, A Quiet Place, you know, you could do loads of different cities and have loads of different stories like spinning off. You can even do a TV show about it, potentially. They could have done loads of things. I think Day 1 is just really generic, and it is Day 1, don't get me wrong, but I think if they called this A Quiet Place New York or A Quiet Place in New York or something like that, that would have been interesting, and they could have expanded the expansion of the universe further, I guess. But nonetheless, 3.5 stars, really good. Stay tuned for my video coming up next. That is going to be my ranking video, ranking numbers 1, 2, as well as now this prequel. Thanks for watching though, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did you enjoy A Quiet Place Day 1? Of course, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.